Today we're speedrunning Donut County, one of the most satisfying games I've ever played. Now we'll start our speedrun as soon as we click on new game. Right away we'll spawn right into our house, pet the cat for good luck, get rid of some of those letters, and finally open this curtain. Now what we're going to do right at the start is skip these text messages by pressing on the window, and then we can get right into the main gameplay loop of this game, which is consuming things right into your hole. You can see first of all we can get all these letters, things like that, and every time we consume something our hole is going to get bigger. The main objective for this first part of the game is to capture this duck guy, so we have to make our hole big enough to make sure he's able to fit in. And yeah, he was kind of trying to be tricky there, but I got him and we can finish out that level, which after that we can get on to one of our main characters, BK. He's texting another one of our main characters called Mira and telling Mira that he's level 9 now, and if he gets to level 10 he earns a quadcopter. Don't worry, it makes sense in the universe. So the thing is, they run a donut business, but every time someone orders a donut they actually spawn one of those holes and then suck them in there. So this is giving us a little bit of a flash forward where, yeah, we're down here too now. And we can see all the people we sucked into this hole. And we're going to be going through each and every single one of their stories in flashback style. So for the first one, we go right in. And you'll see with this game, basically what you want to do is focus on most of the tiny objects first and then make it to the bigger ones. We can also use the physics in places like this to try to move things over because we have to get that skull before we're able to get this chest. And then finally, we can get the box before the game's going to move us on to bigger things. Then once we make it here, first of all we want to open that gate so we can get that pot, and then we're just going to go one by one. Our hole is big enough here to get pretty much everything, so we don't really have to worry about what exactly we're focusing on. We just want to make sure that we get everything as fast as possible. But then we get here, we're going to get these paint buckets first, get all these bins, stuff like that, and we'll see that the mom is really focusing on her pottery, and yeah, now she's dead. Maybe you shouldn't have been focusing on your pottery so much, and that's kind of evident given how much stuff they have back here, and we're gonna break it all. All of our hard work is now gonna go to nothing because it's going to get consumed. So in reality, we really don't want these things to get broken if we can help it, because that makes them split up into different pieces and it just makes it a little bit more messy. So we want to get that at all one time. And finally, we get onto the main gimmick of this level. Each of these levels will have one of these gimmicks, and this time it's going to be the fire. So we can use the fire to push this hot air balloon up. It's going to break everything apart, and now we can start getting the remnants. We'll start with the smaller pieces, look at all of that stuff. We can also get that pool or pond or whatever that thing was, and then we can start going for the bigger stuff. And this is really where this game starts getting satisfying. It just feels so good to eat all of these things, your hole getting bigger and bigger, and nothing is really able to stop it before finally we take their house and there's nothing left. Also, every time we get to one of these sequences where basically it's going to show the person falling down, we can skip it by going to the main menu and then continuing the game from there. That just saves a little bit of time every time it happens, so it makes sense to do. But now it's time for the snake level. Now the snakes are pretty annoying. Basically what they do is before you can get them in your hole, they're gonna hop up, and that just makes them a little bit of annoying to deal with because I mean, just get in the hole, guys. I'm trying to consume. I don't have time for you to argue against me. But what we'll do is pop them up early while we focus on getting other stuff, and then we can go right in there, get them as well before getting the rest of the bigger stuff, getting that snake as well, and moving on to a larger area. And actually the gimmick of this level is also going to be the snake. So once we get this blue snake, which didn't want to happen right there, what's going to happen is its tail is going to pop up, and we can use its tail to increase the snake danger. We got 2 of the increases right there, and we're also going to try to get 2 right here by moving both of those chickens. That just saves a little bit of time since we can do both of the cutscenes at once. And what's going to happen here is the entire snake danger thing is going to explode. A bunch of snakes are going to pop out, and now everything can get consumed. So we're going to go through one by one. We'll start with these snakes and just the smaller things, but after a little bit we can go for the rocks. And how is this one not fitting in? Okay, whatever, I guess we'll go for different ones first. But yeah, nothing is safe at this point. We can get this guy his entire tower. He tried to stop us. Probably wasn't a good idea to use the snake danger sign that much if it was going to explode. Not really the best design in the world, but hey, we got him down into the hole. We can continue our game and hear some more sob stories about, oh, I didn't want to get consumed. Look, it's not whether you want to get consumed or not, it's that you have to, because I gotta go and get my quadcopter. Now for the next one, there's going to be this dog and all the fish. They're all flopping around randomly. It's actually hilarious, but we're gonna make the dog pretty sad because we're taking all of his fish before also consuming him. Then it's gonna move us slightly over, and this level is going to introduce water along with that bird which is able to drink the water. So first of all, we want to get the items right here, and what we can do is get the bird to drink some some water, and then while it's still down, go back and get another drop of water. We'll get a few more things, but you'll see it again right here. We get 2 things at the same time. That just makes the game go by a little bit faster. Just the best way of doing it, instead of making them go fully down twice. But as we get rid of more and more water, there's going to be more fish popping out, and obviously that means we can consume more. After we get the doghouse, we can also get that trailer, and finally it's just time for one more water source, get that fish, and then we can get the bird, finishing off the level. And things have been going really well so far. We've been consuming everybody very fast, but now it's time for the coyotes. Now this is actually one of my favorite levels because first of all, the coyotes are adorable. They just pop their heads out of their tents. They don't really think, maybe we should run away. Instead, they're like, no, the tent is the safest place to be. But what I'm going to work on while they're popping their head out is getting all of that stuff before then I can knock down this corn. And we can use the corn to combine it with the fire and then put our hole under the tent. Now, for some reason, this tent is the heaviest thing in the world because a bunch of popcorn is going to start coming out. Normally it would spray all over the place, but instead, since we were under the tent, it just goes right into our hole and saves us a little bit of time. Then we can start getting their tents. It's going to open up even more. And yeah, this coyote probably knows that the end is imminent. There's nothing really that they can do anymore. So we're going to go through, consume all the rest of this stuff, take that rock as well, and that's going to be it for the level. He still has his head out. The coyote is just so adorable. I love them so much. Anyways, for our next one, it's time for the bunny level. So first of all, what we want to do is just grab both of these carrots, which come hole, please do this for me very fast. Okay, anyways, once you get 2 carrots, what it's going to do is pan over and we can get the big carrot. Now we can use the big carrot to move the bunnies over. So we'll move this guy through his gate so he's able to make it out of there, as well as get the one on the cliff side. Then we can get them to each eat part of the carrot before consuming one and consuming the other. Now what this is going to do is when 2 carrots are combined in a hole, they have a great time. That's all I'm really gonna say. But anyways, our hole is just gonna get bigger just from doing that. And now we can start getting all these gates, some different cliffs, stuff like that. And really all we're focused on for this level is getting enough space so we can get the rest of the rabbits. So I'm not even gonna worry about any of the other stuff and instead just go straight for these guys. And again, they can start having a great time. I'm sure they're talking about anime or something. Then finally, there's gonna be 2 more rabbits. We can move them over. One did not want to get, come on, dude. Come by your girlfriend. It's okay. And there we go. That one has been consumed. And we also got that boulder in at the same time, which was kind of lucky. But now there's been so much happiness and anime talking going on that all of the rabbits are going to pop out. And it seems like there might be a few more, but we're just not going to worry about that. Right now, this house explodes. Yeah, I don't really know why that happened. But now we're going to be going through and getting all the remnants of this as well. We don't even have to worry about the rabbits anymore. The only thing we have to worry about is getting this house and trying to do it fairly efficiently. That wasn't the greatest thing ever, but there we go. We got them. What a great mechanic in this game. Anyways, they're still talking about things. You should actually play this game. It has a really funny story. It's just enjoyable altogether. But obviously, we're just trying to go fast. We're not even going to read it. Now for this one, first of all, I want to go and focus on all of these rocks just to make sure my hole is big enough to open up and get this fire. I can also go right over here, get the lawn chair and stuff. And now we're going to combine the fire with the charcoal and start burning stuff. So we'll start off with those guys. We'll get one more piece of charcoal and get these trees as well. And that's going to cause all of their branches to come down. Or are those really branches? Leaves? Something like that. But we're going to get the remnants of the trees and just collect all of them to make sure our hole is big enough to then get the picnic table, get this guy as well, which we just set him on fire. I kind of feel a little bit bad about that. Yeah, you might not be alive anymore, but that's also not my problem because instead I'm going for all the boulders. And once we get all of those, we're now going to have a big enough hole to just take the trees somehow. And there we go. Another level done, which I think the person is alive. Somehow they're able to survive fire. We're just not going to worry about it. We definitely didn't murder anyone, even though this is a very deadly premise of a game. But now we're going to the fireworks stand, and I really do love this level. So what we can do is make fireworks go off, collect them into our hole, which get in there, dude. Thank you very much. And then we can move them so they're able to hit things for us, like these birds right over here. We also want to make sure our hole is big enough. Before then, we can collect these birds. We'll just get the 2 smaller ones first and then the bigger one. Okay, I said get in the hole, please. And that's going to pan out the camera even more. And we'll see there's another person that's just kindly enjoying their lunch. Now, luckily for them, I don't really like people not dying. So I'm going to go ahead and hit them with a firework. But we have to do it a few times, 3 times to be exact. And while we're waiting for the fireworks, we can also go and collect some different stuff, just make our hole get a bit bigger. But finally, after 3 fireworks, everything is going to start toppling down, and now it's time to consume even more. We'll get the person, we'll get their picnic basket, some corn, stuff like that, get this car, which is very conveniently placed, before then going for the fireworks stand. And okay, I guess we're not going for that right away. Come on, fireworks stand, get in there. I had to collect one more thing, get that popcorn, but that looks perfect. And now we just kind of have to wait for the cutscene, because we'll see now it's time for our friendly neighborhood alligator to just be sleeping and not wake up at all somehow. Yeah, there was a huge explosion that just happened, but you know what? I guess do your thing. Now at this point in the story, BK's like, I'm just cleaning up the neighborhood. I'm helping everyone out. Oh, and also we learned that Mira actually knew he was doing this. So, you know, that's pretty messed up, but hey, we get to have a nice conversation. Mira's gonna ask the alligator how many snakes it would take to defeat him, and he says 1,000 snakes, which I feel like he's a little overconfident, but you know, maybe he's awesome. Anyway, there's a bunch of story going on. Mira's like, the raccoons are really nice, they're awesome, BK's my friend. And the alligator's like, I ordered a donut, it's gonna be really tasty. Anyways, that's the end of the text conversation, and my dude immediately goes back to being slumped, which I really respect. Now at this point, we're going for these lizards. Is that what they are? I don't know. I'm probably saying a bunch of stuff wrong in this video, so just let me know your complaints in the comments. Anyways, we're gonna go for all the lizards. We have to go for the smaller ones first, and come on, dude, just get in the hole. I guess I'll go and get this other smaller one. Sometimes it works. You don't need to get the last one. But these guys are extremely slippery, so it's hard to get them in the hole. At the end of the day, though, they just need to accept it because everything will get consumed. Then it pans us over to the alligator, and we want to focus on his stuff, going for the smaller stuff first, going up to the bigger stuff. And after a bit, we get this really enjoyable scene of watching the tree get consumed, which just feels good. I don't know. Consuming trees is just awesome in this game. Oh, also, I'm going to keep the boombox alive because who doesn't want music? And we're going to be taking that last. Before we do that, we can get other stuff like the tree's top, all of this stuff. We can get these tires right by the house, and everything will slowly get consumed before finally we do have to go for the house, which get in there, and we got it done. And we didn't even get rid of the music. I've actually never had that happen before. I didn't even know you could beat the level without getting the boombox, but I guess it works. Now we learned that Mira wanted BK to order a catapult to start catapulting people back up. And so we get to the egg level, which we can see that this one chicken is missing its significant other, and the other chicken is going to get shipped away from its love, and it's kind of really sad actually. But thankfully, BK is actually here to rescue them and save the day. First of all, we're going to consume it just like usual, and then after we consume enough, we'll see that BK is just like me on his phone on the toilet, and Mira's like, hey, you need to stop doing that, you know, being a buzzkill. I really want to save up for my quadcopter, but Mira is demanding we go ahead and get a catapult, so I guess we'll buy it along with some energy drinks, because why not? Now at this point, what we want to do is use our catapult, which lets us launch up items, and then yeah, you'll see we can do stuff like that. And we'll be using this ability in a bunch of different ways. It's actually one of the coolest things in the game. Like right here, we can launch up the brown chicken. Okay, I'm trying to line this up. For some reason it wasn't working, but anyways, we can get the brown chicken right back in the barn and see its lover. Then if we go on to the other side, we'll see that a ton of eggs are going to start producing, but we're going to put the eggs on their multiple egg mode, and now things are going to start to get crazy. So what you want to do here is just keep consuming the eggs. There's a certain amount you need to get. Technically you can count it and make sure you have the perfect amount, but I kind of just go by feeling. That feels like enough. Maybe. Okay, I guess I'll get a couple more eggs. That wasn't my best decision ever. Anyways, we can then get that thing. Things are going to start getting bigger. We can go for the truck, the giant chicken, all the rest of the stuff on the farm until we can finally get to the small barn and then also get to the big barn, finishing out that level, which we're doing really well at this point. We're almost to the part where we're done with flashbacks and we'll actually be in real time. But before that, it's time for another one of my favorite levels because we get to use some wonky physics. Now we'll see the beekeeper is being chased by his bees, and BK again is going to save the day. Now, first of all, what we do here is start getting a couple of things just to make sure our hole is big enough to deal with what we're going to have to do after this. Then we can get this honeycomb and use the catapult to launch it up, so then we can get the frog. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of the game because we can use the frog to then latch onto the nest and also latch onto the bees. And we'll do that for all of these in every single one of these scenarios. It's actually really fun. I love the frog's physics of just using his tongue and then going down. It's adorable. But we'll let the frog eat all of that so he can get nice and thick before going for the other stuff and just consuming all of that too. Now we go over to this spot, and first of all, we want to make sure that our hole is big enough to do some cool tricks that we're about to do. Now here, you technically only need to get 2 of these bees, but I get 3 just for safety. And then we can do a cool trick which just saves like the smallest amount of time, to be honest. What we can do is use the physics to launch the frog up, then use the hole to move him over, take the guy without making him thick enough to get the 4 bees. We only had to use 3. Anyways, that was another fun time, but now we're hearing about the complaints from the chef. And the chef level is interesting. So they have a cockroach infestation, and there are cockroaches everywhere. There's so many, he's using a bin on top of a cockroach that is moving him around. Yeah, you probably shouldn't eat at this restaurant, but we're gonna take him in. That's what he gets for not cleaning up a little bit, and then we're actually gonna go into the restaurant. We'll see there's another one of these birds, and what we want to do here is make a soup that's to his liking. So first of all, we get this green liquid, and then we have to get both salt and pepper. The thing is, once we get one of the spices, a cockroach is going to show up and try to eat it, but it's pretty easy to dodge. As long as we're fast enough, he won't jump in there and it won't ruin the taste. We can then get our pepper, let our bird go and eat it, and then we don't really have to do anything else, because now we're going outside, and I'm pretty sure the hole's physics of trying to attract the cockroaches is still on for some reason. Even though there's no more soup, they just really want to go in my hole. So that makes our lives a little bit easier as we go through, take the rest of this stuff. All these cockroaches are like, give me those soup remnants. And now we're getting to a very big area. At this point, we can take all these cars, a bunch of tiles and trees and stuff like that before getting these like bunkers. Those aren't just even like regular buildings, they literally look like bunkers. But then we get to the huge scale where we can get these gigantic buildings. We do have to kind of move around our hole a little bit to make sure they don't fall in the wrong place, but it's nice and easy at the end of the day. And yeah, another person successfully murdered. Well, I guess unfortunately not murdered, because obviously they are still here. But at this point, it's now time to get to present day, right after we do one more flashback. So we'll see that BK has finally gotten his quadcopter, and honestly, we can all be pretty proud of him. Just look how happy he is. Anyways, it's called the BK squad, and obviously Mira is extremely jealous. To be honest, I'm kind of jealous. And she's so jealous that she's going to throw the quadcopter onto the ground like a jerk. And Mira's like, okay, it's time for you to get a taste of your own medicine, and she decides to destroy her boy. Now it's time for a really satisfying level. Just look at these tree drops. It feels so good. We get another one right there, and I just love that. It's one of the most satisfying things in the world. I don't know, this game, if you haven't been satisfied so far, you're probably never gonna get there. Like, this is awesome. But finally, we can get Mira as well. Not really sure why she decided to get consumed too, but that's going to be everybody, and now we're gonna be in present day. So Mira's like, look, we have to stop this. We gotta get everybody back onto the earth, and we decide that if we find Pup, the person with the hot air balloon, we'll be able to get everybody back up to the surface. But unfortunately, no one knows where Pup is, so before that, we gotta get Possum, because for some reason we think this person who just has this terrifying mask out their window is going to be able to help us. Now this level is interesting because it introduces darkness, which I say introduces when this is the only time they actually use it. I guess that still is introducing, but what we're going to want to do is get a flashlight. Now we want to collect as many things as possible without scaring the cat in this room. That just makes things a little bit more annoying, and it will make our flashlight go out, so we have to get a battery. Like usual, we're just going for the smaller objects one by one. There are some things that are deceptively big. Like, I think that should fit in, but yeah, okay, we're gonna have to go for other things first. It's really annoying, and it's hard with the darkness, but we'll go through. We'll try our best not to hit the cat, because you can see him right there with the mask on. But now we should be big enough to go and get that bird cage, get that table as well. And okay, I guess that's not enough. We'll just get a couple more things, and there we go. That thing's gonna go down. We can open the window or do something like that. I'm not really sure where the light source is coming from, but we can scare the cat to turn on the light, and now it's time to consume everything else. So we'll destroy this table, and okay, that was actually a really funny launch. Possum, for some reason, is still asleep. I feel like, should we check on him? Is he alive? Anyways, time to go outside the house and get everything else. To be fair, I feel like since we got Possum, why do we even need to get his house? Like, literally, we're asking him to help us in destroying his property, which is a little bit messed up, but whatever, we got him down now. And yeah, Possum is basically going to tell us if we want to go ahead and find Pup, we should go and check Raccoon Land. I'm not sure if that's the actual name, I forget what it is, but it's basically an amusement park for raccoons. So here we go. What we're going to do is go ahead ahead and try to get some of these bricks first. We just have to make our hole big enough to start doing some stuff. Also get that dirt, and then we can get this, which has a fish and also some water. Now we can use this water to move this raccoon up. I don't know why there's nothing else doing that. That guy's just been sitting there for like 12 hours. But what we want to do is use the water balloon dispenser so we can move this guy up and get him through the course. With 4 water balloons, we should have enough to get him through there. And now we just want to make sure we have enough space to also move up that thing. Okay, that was kind of embarrassing, as I was saying, to also move up that thing. And then it's just time to collect everything else before our boy finally comes back down and we can consume him as well. Now at this point, we can move the water balloon thing and we want to consume that too, and then go and get this water. Now with that water, we can use it on this Ferris wheel and ruin all of these people's day. They were having a great time. They didn't even do anything to us, but yeah, now they're all probably dead from impact. Not really the most moral thing in the world to do, but like usual, who cares about that? The only thing I care about is the speed. Now all we have to do is take this whole amusement park ride, and there we go. We got that done too. Which now we just have a passed out police officer, which is kind of funny, but we also got his radio, and we're going to use that to find out where Pup is. And we'll see that Pup is surrounded by a bunch of raccoons, but before we get there to start helping him, or I guess actually just consume him, we have to go ahead and make our hole big enough. Now this part is really annoying. What we want to do is move the coffee cup off of this rat's car, which, dude, can you please? Sometimes this is like a first try thing. Sometimes this takes like 5 tries. Can you please get off the car? Okay, please. Yes, finally. Oh my gosh, that took so long. Anyways, we got the coffee cup and now we can get the rat as well. Get in the hole, dude. You've been so annoying this run. Then we move our hole over to this area where we can see there's a bunch of raccoons just watching TV in the middle of the freeway. Yeah, this place has gotten absolutely insane. But you know, they're gonna get what they deserved by getting sucked right into our hole. We can also take the tire, all of the TVs, things like that, and just slowly consume everything until there's nothing left. And once we get our hole big enough, we can get that raccoon as well, which is going to cause this donut truck to spit all of its donuts right onto the freeway, including a blue one. Then finally, it's just time for a picnic table and we can move on to where Pup is going to be. Now we can use this blue donut to actually launch it up and take that police officer's camera. We're going to use this on all of these cops just one by one, getting them to like get stunned and then fall into the ground. They're really not good police officers if a single camera flash is going to do that to them, but whatever. We now got them weighing down Pup's entire air balloon, but there's going to be one more cop trying to stop us too. Now this guy, to be honest, he isn't too much harder. All we have to do instead of flashing him just one time is flashing him twice in a row, and he'll get knocked down just like everyone else. So now we can use this last guy to weigh down the hot air balloon, get them all in, and now it is time for a truly satisfying part. All of these cars slowly getting consumed, probably one of the best feelings in the world. And they're just not stopping. They see a hole in front of them. They just keep going. What are you doing? They have no survival instincts, but to be fair, they don't need them. I'm a nice guy. I probably won't murder them. Probably. But we can see that Pup is now coming down and we're like, hey Pup, we need to use your hot air balloon so we can save the world. And what we're gonna have to do is go and fight Trash King. So Mira and BK start flying up to this area and we see that the whole world is like on fire or dying. There's some pretty messed up things happening. Oh, I should probably also mention at this point that we actually chose one of the slower languages to play. I forget which language it is, but if you pick a certain one, then you can master this text much faster. I didn't, just because I'm making a YouTube video and you know, it's more easy to understand if we're in English. But anyways, time for a text message. We're gonna see Trash King. He's gonna be like, new phone, who this? Literally, that's exactly what he says. And we're like, hey, can you give people their trash back? And yeah, he just says no. Well, he actually doesn't even say no. He doesn't reply, which feels kind of bad. But that means we're gonna break into his castle, starting by getting all of this stuff. And once we get all of the things right there, what we can do is repeatedly click on that like security console thing and skip a cutscene, just going straight in here. Not really sure why that cutscene skip works, but it does and it feels good. Now from here, we're gonna want to make sure that our hole gets big enough, you know, pretty much just normal stuff at this point, until we make it into the security office office, and we can see that there's a raccoon just sleeping on the job, and that's going to be his last mistake because now he is consumed. And we'll also use him. We bonked his head onto that thing to get one of the keys, and he still didn't wake up, but he's probably now going to wake up with a concussion. And after that, we make it into the biology lab where, yeah, they're doing biology things like studying a snake, I guess. This game really has a thing against snakes, and I don't understand why. Snakes are cool creatures. Sure, some of them might try to murder you, but it just happens. Anyways, what we're going to do at this point is we're going to grab all of these things and move them off because, of course, just like everything else, we're trying to consume. Now, after getting those two things, we can finally get the frog, and you probably know what's about to happen because you see all the flies around the room. We can go pick up the frog. We might as well get a couple more things just to make sure our hole is big enough before we go through and grab all of the flies. And once we get all of those guys, you might also notice there are some bunnies here. Now, what we have to do is, okay, hope that doesn't happen. You'll see that sometimes the frog is able to jump in the air for some reason, and it's really annoying. But anyways, we're gonna get 4 rabbits, and they're gonna talk about some more anime, and they're talking about a lot of anime in this hole, as you can see by how massive it's getting. Yeah. So Trash King is like, hey guys, don't panic, but yeah, everything is about to explode because it was too many rabbits. So that's the first area done. Time for the second one. But before that, we get to see this rabbit filled hallway. But the only one we're going for is the working rabbit who has a key. So we'll take the blue key and go into the anthropology lab. Now, once we make it in here, we'll see that there are a bunch of raccoons studying a dumpster fire. So that's cool. And yeah, just like usual, take the smaller stuff, move on to the bigger stuff. You probably know the drill by now, but hey, I have to do some sort of YouTube commentary. Otherwise, the video would get boring. Anyways, we're going to take this fire, which of course you already know what fire does. It makes fireworks go off. So we can use that to our advantage and make water flash all over the place. Then we can use this water to make an electricity current and move all of this stuff over. So at this point, what we want to do is get the bird to drink some of the water and pretty much just wait for a while because we need another firework to spawn, and to do that we have to wait for an entire cycle and start another one. Yeah, I guess at least the bird's getting to drink. That's pretty cool. Anyways, now we can start this furnace, which is going to set the firework off, and then we can use that firework to hit the wires, and there we go. That's another thing exploded, which means all that's left is meeting Trash King inside of his office. He opens his doors nice and suspiciously, and we'll see he has a bunch of trophies around, and there are some donuts. Tasty. And I mean, this definitely isn't a trap or something. You know, what could go wrong with following a trail of donuts that look delicious? I mean, it's pretty cool. And we'll slowly inch our way up until we also see there's a bunch of trash over there. I kind of want that to make my hole big. But as soon as we get this last donut, yeah, we get trapped. And Trash King is like, hey, you're an idiot. BK, come into my office now. And BK, being the good, upstanding citizen that we've always known him to be, is definitely not going to betray us or anything. So Trash King is like, hey, you want to join the army? Look at this thing. You could have one of these. And BK's like, wow, that's pretty cool. But while that's happening, we see that Mira's out here along with the possum, by the way. During that cutscene we skipped, Possum actually decided to come with us. It's a whole thing. But they're getting attacked by drones. And meanwhile, Trash King is trying to convince BK to betray us, and it looks like it's working. Here's also when the king quadcopter decides to come, and yeah, now it's time for a boss fight. By the way, if you ever decide to play this game, you should definitely see what happens if you lose this fight. There's a really funny cutscene. Unfortunately, we won't see it in the speedrun since we're trying to go fast, but yeah, you should check it out and just play this game in general. Anyway, what we're gonna do is first dodge all of the cement. You'll see that the king quadcopter is going to try to hit us with that and also add some cement blocks to make it harder for us to dodge it. But I've played this game enough to know how to move my hole over, so it's nice and easy. Then he's gonna start spawning bombs, and we have to wait for the smaller one, and getting the smaller one is completely luck based. It just depends on if we get lucky or not, but we got that, I guess, third try, which actually wasn't very good. But you know, that's fine. This speedrun has been awesome, and we can definitely finish off with a really good time. So we get this pattern now, which is a little bit harder than the last one, but it's still not too bad. We'll just go around in circles, and there we go. Time for some bombs. So maybe you give me a little bit better than third try. Like, all right, I guess the third try again. Anyways, time to explode the quadcopter one more time, and there we go. Boss fight defeated, which that feels good, and we did it without the help of BK. We talk about how he's a true capitalist, you know, he betrayed us, stuff like that, and then the quadcopter comes right back. Yeah, Trash King is like, dang, you guys are trash. But in reality, he's actually trash because BK didn't betray us. He's actually here to help. He got a hacking device and we're going to use that on the king quadcopter, Sierra Possum hack protocol. And what that's going to do is lower the defenses of the quadcopter and start spawning a ton of bombs. So before we do anything else, we want to collect all of these bombs right into our hole and then use those all at the exact same time to explode the quadcopter. That's going to cause a massive explosion, but all of its parts are still there. And we can use these parts to start like a tornado, I guess. I don't really know if this is how it would work. And what's happening to the people in the hole? Are they just getting like blasted in this as well? But that's also not really my problem because now we're able to use this tornado to completely decimate my boy's mansion. Yeah, some may say he doesn't deserve this, but you would kind of objectively be wrong, to be fair. Anyways, we're just going to go through and we can end off time after we finish off the entire mansion, and it's going to be right there with the time of 42:23, which is going to give me 34th place on speedrun.com, and I'll take it. All right, subscribe if you enjoyed. Bye.